Asexual reproduction and cell division in prokaryotes. What is reproduction? It is the formation of new individuals. One of the most important characteristics in living things. There are two different types of reproduction: asexual and sexual reproduction. What is asexual reproduction? Asexual reproduction is a mode of reproduction by which offspring arise from a single parent and inherit the genes of that parent. It is reproduction which does not involve meiosis. Asexual reproduction is the primary form of reproduction for single-celled organisms, such as bacteria. Many plants and fungi reproduce asexually as well. Where does asexual reproduction take place? Asexual reproduction occurs in many single-celled organisms, but also in some multicellular organisms like hydra.
Reproduction is the formation of new individuals, one of the most important characteristics in living things. Asexual reproduction is the production of genetically identical offspring from a single parent. Asexual reproduction occurs in many single-celled organisms, but also in some multicellular organisms like hydra.
Prokaryotic cell cycle. Prokaryotic cell cycle. The prokaryotic cell cycle is a regular pattern of growth, DNA replication and cell division that can take place very rapidly under ideal conditions. In the picture, we can see a typical prokaryotic cell. We can see the cytoplasm, ribosomes, DNA, cell membrane, and cell wall. It is known that most prokaryotic cells begin to replicate or copy their DNA chromosomes once they have grown to a certain size. The prokaryotic cell cycle is a regular pattern of growth, DNA replication and cell division that can take place rapidly under ideal conditions. It is known that most prokaryotic cells begin to replicate or copy their DNA chromosomes once they have grown to a certain size. When DNA replication is complete or nearly complete, the cells begin to divide.
When DNA replication is complete or nearly complete, the cell begins to divide.
The process of cell division in prokaryotes is a form of sexual reproduction known as binary fission. Prokaryotic fission, which is binary fission, is a form of asexual reproduction and cell division used by all prokaryotes and some organelles within eukaryote organisms. This process results in the reproduction of a living prokaryote cell or organelles by division into two parts of that.
The process of cell division in prokaryotes is a form of sexual reproduction known as binary fission. Once the chromosome has been replicated, the two DNA molecules attach different regions of the cell membrane. A network of fibers forms between them, stretching from one side of the cell to the other.
Almost all bacteria cells reproduce by binary fission. As the term suggests, this is a process by which a single cell simply splits in two, creating two identical copies of itself. The first step in this process is replication. At the replication stage, the bacteria increases in size and makes an exact duplicate of its chromosome. Following this, the bacterium begins to elongate and pinch off in the center. The two chromosomes move to opposing sides of the cell, and the cell wall grows to fill in the pinched gap in the center. This results in two separate, yet identical cells that are an exact match of the original parent cell.
Once the chromosomes has been replicated, the two DNA molecules attach to different regions of the cell membrane. A network of fibers forms between them, stretching from one side of the cell to the other. The fibers constrict and the cell is pinched inward, dividing the cytoplasm and chromosomes between two newly formed identical cells.
Here is our prokaryotic cell that is going to pass by the process of cell division because it is so big. First, DNA replicates in the center of the cell, then the cytoplasm starts to grow inward, and finally the cytoplasm pinches, creating two identical new cells.
Bacteria reproduce very simply and rapidly by doubling their contents and splitting in two. Just one bacterium dividing every 20 minutes, could produce nearly 5,000 billion bacteria in one day.
Credits: Master Alejandro Cruz and students from Group 116, Fernando Vázquez Rodríguez, Humberto Reyes Pérez, Alicia Carolina Rivera Cantú, Juan Reina Espinosa, Cintia Salcedo Dávila, Juan Luis Gómez Hernández, Monterrey, Nuevo León, México, November 28, 2011. Thanks.